Hey everyone, welcome to Smash Trivia. I'm your host, Smash Trivia John. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram by searching Smash Trivia to follow everything happening with me. I'll be the one with the big old green head in the profile picture. So excited to get into this. This is the Gamma Analysis. Basically, in this series, I'm going to review everything Hulk, all the movies and TV shows. Hope you enjoy. Smash Trivia presents the Gamma Analysis. I want to ask everyone listening, you could please do sign for me. Please share out there the hell out of this podcast with all your friends. And also, I'd like to take a moment to say that Smash Trivia now is a Patreon, so please check that out. We have some fantastic extra content on there that I bet you'll love. The tiers are as follows: $1 a month is Hulkaholic for $1, or $3 a month is the Reading Room with Hulky and Chalky. $5 a month is Smashing the TV, and then $10 a month is Bruce's Bar Trivia and One Night Smashes. I'm joined today by my guest Brandy. Hey, how are you doing tonight, Brandy?
I'm doing good. I'm excited.
That's good. And as always, our Hulkaholic for $1. We have film critic Derek Sager and Gabriel Floral. All right, so this is just going to be a mini episode. We're just going to talk some more about She-Hulk. So start this off. How have you been feeling about the show as it's been going, Brandy?
I'm really enjoying the show. Like I came into it expecting, a funny sitcom, like 30 minutes, get in there, a little bit of action, and get introduced to the She-Hulk. So I think they're giving exactly what I was expecting, and that's
Yeah.
always, great.
Oh yeah. I think there's a lot of people that they've seen the show and they're feeling like it's not giving us enough out of it, but they didn't really tell us it was going to give us sign more than what we're getting. We're
Yeah.
getting really exactly what they told us it was going to be, is a 30-minute legal sitcom. Yeah. I'm really enjoying it so far. How are you been feeling about the female representation this series has given?
I think it's really good, especially looking at this last episode. I can see how sometimes, if you're maybe even if you're male or if you're just think that it's so female powered that you can get a little bit tired of it. But I think it's just kind of missing that there are, slights about like those like things that women do as well that are annoying or looks that she gets from the women. So this episode, you got a little bit of that focus, and I think that's probably good. And you can see that it's not
Nice.
so all one-sided.
Yeah. And they also there's I've heard a lot of people trying to say like, oh, this is a man hating show. No, it's not. It's it yeah, there's a lot of asshole guys in the show, but there's a lot of asshole guys in real life. But there's also in the show they have multiple also guy characters who are good people. Like you have Bruce, obviously, you have Wong, you have Pug, you have hopefully Josh is a good guy.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, you even
with
have what's her cousin, Jed? Like
yeah, Chet.
he's not a
Yeah,
he's not a bad guy. He's he's something, but he's not like
yeah.
a guy. Yeah. Or like
Though
not,
he did
chauvinistic
get
douchey.
though he did have an affair, I guess, with the with Lulu. Lulu.
Yeah.
Since there's the credits for this past episode of them kissing, which is when I saw that while I was making my notes yesterday, I was just like, what the
Hey,
fuck?
that you had it much better than me because when I first saw it, I had to go back and rewind because at first I thought it was Jen, and I was like, wait, why would we go there? And I went back and I was like, is that Nikki? Why would Nikki be there? And then it took me a while, and I was like, Lulu was never in my brain, and so talk about a shock for me. I was like,
Yeah, like yes, as Lulu is annoying as hell, and she is and she did a lot of things in the episode that pissed me off, but I did not expect her to be someone who would cheat on her groom, that's going to be her husband or husband in the episode. Like that really surprised me. And then, and of all people, Ched. Why would you want to be with Ched?
sometimes when people are stressed, they just look for someone who's like a relief, and Ted doesn't look like anything is like stresses him out because he's not paying much attention to it anyway. But
Yeah.
I think that I'm also surprised that she was that person, but I also think that they kind of played it when she was asking Jen about getting married. Like
Mhm.
it was about getting
Oh
married.
yeah,
It's about saying I have a husband more than it's about who her husband was.
yeah,
Which is probably why you don't even meet him. Like you don't even know what that guy looks like.
yeah.
So
That I was very surprised we never got to meet Adam.
yeah. Was that his name? Oh my goodness.
Well, okay. So I'm guessing that's his name, since it's since on the same aim panel in the credits, it has the picture of Lulu and Ched together. There's together at the very bottom of it. It has Lulu and Adam written out. So
Okay.
I'm guessing to have on their photo booth thing they have at the bottom of them, it has their names on it.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't even see that. So when you said his name, I was completely surprised. What ties into what I was saying? Like he's a
Yeah,
non-factor for the show.
yeah.
So.
You know, I part of me would be surprised if we see Lulu again, but also a part of me kind of wonders if we will, because it goes into a theory I had last night as I in my review of, I think this whole wedding was a sham put on by Lulu and Titania, and if that's the case, then we probably would see a Lulu again. Which, if that happens, I'm hoping we would get to see Adam, and like maybe it's like some big surprise as like cameo actor. Like
Uh,
I imagine it's like a Timothy Chalamet or something, or I just some really big actor
like
is Adam. That would be
yes,
funny.
I so I would definitely say I can see that because I started to wonder, especially the second time I watched it, like, the first time you're watching it, you're like, why did she invite Jen? Oh, because they want someone to make fun of
Mhm.
and they want someone to put down. And then you start to
Yeah.
be like, maybe a little suspicious of Josh, but the second viewing,
Yeah,
you're like,
I kind of
push Josh aside and you're like, this wedding and there's cameras that he wouldn't have set up. But I don't I'm not in in the camp that it's Titania. I kind of think that it's gonna be the leader. And
well,
I
yeah,
really think they're gonna
I
have him
I
come back.
think
So
there's definitely, I think the leader is probably gonna be the big bad of the season. I think I don't think really this idea of a sham wedding. I don't think that's really related to that though. Oh, I think it like that distorting thing at the end of the episode going into that lab. I don't think that was actually trying to say that there's cameras on them everywhere. I think it was just like that's their cool way of transitioning to the lab. But it could be a I like my reasoning for my theory of it being a sham is I was thinking like they're both Lulu and Titania. They're trying to emotionally break Jen, and that would also be why when right after meeting Josh, Lulu is like, I gotta take you away from her
I mean, I don't
immediately.
disagree with that. I think um Lulu strikes kind of struck me as someone who that when her and Jen were friends,
Mm,
it was one of those, hey, I hang out with someone who I always feel like I'm better than. Uh,
yeah.
and and that makes me feel better about myself. Like she struck me as that type of person. And hey, Jen was doing well for a while. She became a lawyer. I can't say I'm better than her, but oh, now I'm married and I can once again say that I'm better than her. So bring her back into it and
Uh,
possibly even, um, like have a sham with the whole She-Hulk thing. Whereas Titania just seems like someone who's decided, like, I think she said it white, like she basically told exactly what she's thinking. This is something I really want, and you're getting famous, and it's not even something you want that
mhm.
much. And so she's an influencer, and this is a big part of her. And here comes Jen, who's just kind of like it happened to her, and she didn't want it, and now that's
Yeah.
like frustrating. So, um,
I part of like what goes into my thinking of like of it being that they may be working together is, so Lulu, she doesn't seem to care about anyone else's like success or anything like that, particularly when she's talking with Jen. But
Right.
then, but when she talks about Titania, she's like, "Oh, she has 5,000 businesses and all this stuff," and like that kind of feels she's hyping up Titania while putting Jen down. Feel kind of like felt to me like there's something there. Why would she? Why everyone else she would put down, but Titania she's is propping up.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I
Uh,
and see it's just I think it's a different read and I'm liking yours because mine was completely like here comes Titania and having an
yeah.
influencer here just elevates my wedding all the more. And she hates Jen, so now she's
Yeah,
even more important. So I think I think
if it was like simply elevating my wedding more, then she wouldn't have the problem with people staring at Jen as She-Hulk, because that elevates your wedding.
true, but
Uh,
yeah. So I will be interested in seeing
yeah,
which one's right, or if either, what if we're
yeah.
both completely off base here?
Now,
We've had this discussion, and then later on, we're like, remember that theory that
now,
was
do
wrong?
you think? Now, do you think that Todd will be a thing in these last three episodes, or if or if he was just a date who's a weirdo?
So, like, definitely on the date, I was like, why are you asking all these
Yeah,
questions? They don't seem to be like a get to know you question, especially with what happened in the previous episode. Um, so I kind of feel like he could play a part in it. Like
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm also wondering like why particularly is he have business with GLK and H's superhero law division because he's not a superhuman.
I don't think he did.
Which
Was Mallory part of the superhuman law, or is
well,
she
yeah,
just part
yeah,
of the okay?
she's part of superhuman law. I think they're trying to say that he is the biggest client for the superhuman law division. So I'm part of me wonders if also um GOK and H could somehow be involved in some of the bad stuff going on with people trying to get She-Hulk's blood, and that could end up be a reason for why by the end of the season. I don't think by the end of the season that Jen's still going to work at GLK and H. I think she's going to start her own law firm.
Yeah, I don't know. That's I don't. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that. Why he was a part of that department. I just kind of figured that he was a long time client. He obviously was talking about how
Yeah,
rich he
he's
was, and then this is a new thing, and so Mallory was his lawyer, and I hadn't really put much thought into it. So that does make sense. I do think he has more to do with it. I also, whenever you're watching something, you kind of recognize an actor. You're like, okay,
yeah.
I know you.
Yeah,
And so that
if
made me
it
think of it too.
like yeah, like you don't cast as someone who's is a decently well-known own face in shows if they're not gonna be a big deal.
Yeah. That being said, this is Marvel, and you can get that. So
Yeah,
people trying to get in a little bit in Marvel get that
I
already.
feel like I feel like it's kind of a spectrum. Like if you have a super massive actor, it's probably gonna be a one-off.
Right.
But then if it's like a decent sized actor, that's when I should expect it's like gonna be a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, and then if it's a really small actor, then you can also expect it to probably be a one-off.
Yeah.
Just like I don't think we're going to see the wrecking crew again, and I don't I think that was just gonna be just for that one scene, and to tease the people are trying to get She-Hulk's blood. The main reason I'm thinking that is because they didn't cast any well-known actors in there.
Okay. True.
Yeah,
So it
they
makes sense.
and
Marvel kind of
even to
changes it up, because
even to a point though where they for the wrecking crew, who one of the actor who plays Thunderball ball is an in-house house stuntman who has worked on many Marvel projects before. So I'm guessing they were trying to be cheap because they knew that they weren't going to be probably a part of the series going forward.
yeah. And I can definitely see that. I mean, having someone in there that could be was it the beekeeper from from WandaVision, where you're like, who is that? And it's no one, really. um, so it's just kind of funny because here we are talking about how like casting somebody who's somewhat well known right after talking about having Timothy Chalamet come in for like a one-off. But I think also Marvel sometimes changes the game. They have a lot of new actors play like the titular role.
Yeah.
So and a lot of well-known actors, playing like a small role. I think so they're messing up my formula a little bit there. So
now one particular actor that I talked a little bit last night, I'm it's fine. I find really interesting that there was this is sign from leaks that but basically there's a leak that a massive amount of stuff from this leak has come true. So I'm pretty sure it was a real leak. This leak said that that Jim Carrey did motion capture stuff for She-Hulk. They don't didn't they thought he probably was playing MODOK, but we know that that's definitely not the case because of Ant-Man and the Wasp 3. But if that ends up being a real thing, who would you want Jim Carrey playing?
I haven't seen that leak, so I haven't had any chance to think about it. I wouldn't know, to be honest.
It's an interesting idea, and I love the idea of Jim Carrey a character in She-Hulk, but I don't know who I'd want him to play. And also, the leak said that his role may have gotten cut, which would really annoy me if he someone as big as Jim Carrey filmed stuff and then they cut it. That would and also particularly because at least to me it seems like Jim Carrey is retiring from acting, so it would be crazy to me if one of his last roles he filmed got cut.
I guess it's just kind of like, once again, I'm gonna rely, if this leak is true, and he does this role and they cut it, that's just telling you where Marvel is. Like they're like, we'll cut a big actor. But I would want to see it. I don't care how you give it.
I honestly, I think would be really cool. Since She-Hulk is a comedy, I like trying to particularly as hopefully there's more seasons come of the show, because I really love the show. Like having at least once a season, having like a comedy legend appear, like you could like getting Jim Carrey, getting maybe like Steve Martin or Eddie Murphy or things like that. I think that would be a really cool thing for them to just like at least once a season have some big a comedy legend appear
and just be like a one-off.
Have it
would be awesome.
Have it like they play either like play themselves getting Jen's help in court, or since she lives in Los Angeles, so there's lots of actors there, or like just like having them play like super deep cut Marvel characters that no one would expect.
Yeah, that would be cool. And I think the setup for She-Hulk with having, these superheroes come in would be a great opportunity for you to just kind of have someone in, do an episode, and kind of go from there.
Oh yeah, I've heard people try to say like they think that the cameos are bogging down the show, that it's taking away the spotlight from Jen. But the thing is, to me, I don't think you can have a superhuman law show without having her represent some superheroes.
Right.
Like you can't really do that, and or you'll just feel like, what was the point of her going into a superhuman law division if none of the characters are going to be characters to be recognized?
Yeah, and I don't think like you've gotten some cameos, but I don't think we have. This one didn't have like anybody.
Yeah.
And even you had Wong for more, but those were all things we knew were coming.
Yeah.
And so it's just more about her having her story, and it
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
mean that she's like the main character in everybody's story, but this would, like, I think it's a great opportunity to kind of tie her in a little bit more outside of just Bruce.
Oh and you like this is the bit this series to me feels like the series where we have the most chance of getting of like getting to know this world of the MCU more than or than we've gotten to know it before, since
Yeah,
we're
I think
getting to see her
definitely.
everyday life. I which is the reason why I loved the concept for Agents of Shield, because it was because you got to really build out the world outside of these big world ending events.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, if there's one thing that I wish I was getting more in the show, it was maybe like a little bit more of the courtroom
yeah.
stuff. Just because that's been established more than anything. Not even the show itself feels like it's lacking that, but it's been established that's a big part of her life,
Mm-hmm.
and then really important to her.
Oh yeah.
And so it seems to be taking an accidental, back seat, which
Uh,
also would be realistic, but
oh yeah.
and then I think it would be a great opportunity to have those things, like people come in and it show a
Mm.
different side. I think the Sokovia Accords being talked about
Yeah,
in She-Hulk would have been amazing.
that's right. So there have been interviews that have said that the Sokovia Accords are going to be a part of She-Hulk, and they're going to talk about that. We are now 6 episodes in. There's been nothing about them, and I'm wondering if that is going to be a thing, and when in the last 3 episodes are they going to talk about that? Because as I imagine, she definitely would need to sign them if she's going to be walking around daylight as She-Hulk all the time.
Yeah, and to see her come at it from a completely different angle. I mean, in a Civil War, you saw mostly like Steve or Tony's way, and then other people would kind
Yeah.
of come in a little bit here and there, but you didn't really get to the nitty gritty of how they felt.
Oh yeah.
But she's going to
And
come at it like, this is a legal document. What am I signing away? All those things,
yeah,
in a
and
completely like,
also like I think she'll probably she'll probably dissect it and be like, I so I'm not doing any superheroing.
right.
And do I actually legally have to sign this if I'm not doing superheroing? I'm just being a lawyer. I think that's going to be an interesting conversation as well. And also since I'm pretty sure by the end of the season we will see Bruce again, and it would be really interesting to get his take on the Sokovia Accord since he wasn't there in Civil War. I would love to be able to hear his opinions on it.
Definitely. Not only was he not there, but he was um, a key part of why people feel that you need
Yeah.
them.
Oh yeah.
And
I kind of I feel like his opinion on it would be that he doesn't care. Like he just does not want to fight either his friends, so he would have just been if he were on Earth, he would have just told them, "You two are being idiots. I'm sitting this out."
I can see it both ways. I could see him saying, as Hulk, like, I messed up a lot of stuff, and so, but also being like, but as Hulk, I don't really have control of that. So what's the Sokovia
Yes,
Accords going to do for that? But I,
but
I really agree with that.
there's that, but there's also the fact that the government has been hunting him down for years. So he's got there's got to be like a part of him that's like, I don't trust the government to tell me be let me do what I need to do, just like what Cap is saying.
Yeah, but if they wanted to go that route, the MCU would have to actually touch on that more than they have, because
Mm-hmm.
they've kind of left it since
Yeah,
the Incredible Hulk movie. So they'd have to actually touch on that. But as far as Jen's viewpoint on it, also to kind of go off what you were saying, I think it would be her saying, "I'm not being a superhero. How?
yeah,
Why would I have to do this? Are you going to try to make me do superhero stuff I don't want to do? But also,
that
if I
that
get jumped and I become She-Hulk, like, am I liable that way? Those would be questions that maybe others wouldn't think to ask that she would be in the place to
So yeah,
ask.
and I feel like we're going to we in these last three episodes, there's gotta be a little bit of involvement from the DODC. Like
Definitely.
they're they have been they were so involved with everything with Miss Marvel because she was superhuman, and but they've kind of just left Jen alone so far, which kind of feels a little weird to me that they haven't gone after her or to make sure she's not a threat.
Even if it's to find out that we're watching her, even if it's just that we're
Mm-hmm.
monitoring this, we know who she is, opposed to what everything that happened with Miss Marvel, where they're like, who is that person? Um, but I do feel like it needs to come in because right now
Oh yeah,
it's just been basically a jail, a prison that someone
yeah.
was in, and that's it. So
And, one thing, the intelligentsia that we got revealed to this past episode. You just like me think think that the leader is going to be definitely involved in it. Do you think that their story is going to be like the like one of the intelligentsia stories in the comics where the leader he tries to get Hulk's blood to be able to create Red Hulk, which being General Ross turning into Red Hulk, because the intelligentsia is who created him.
yeah, I think they're setting. I think they're setting, the uh stuff in place. I can't think of the word I want, but I think they're like getting those wheels moving. Um, Obviously, they're gonna do MCU and have like some tweaks to it,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah,
that also depends on how much.
I
It's weird
think
because now I feel like we can get so much
I
Hawk
kind of
stuff that we
feel
hadn't before.
like we have we are in the best position to possibly get a Red Hawk right now.
Right,
Out both with us now being able to get more so much more Hawk stuff, and they're definitely planning a lot of Hawk stuff down the line and
right,
with Hawk related characters, but also because of the a actor passing, they can hire a younger actor who's going to be able to sustain the role for another other 10-20 years, however long they want to have Red Hawk be a part of the MCU, and I expect they would immediately just turn him into a Red Hawk and make it be a permanent change so that they don't have to deal with really the bulk of people caring about a recast.
right. Or yeah, I think that they
And
are definitely in a place where this would be a good idea, and I feel like I heard is it that pretty soon Universal won't have the rights to Hulk anymore,
yeah,
so
there's
that's why
so
like a year.
I don't I don't know whether that's actually confirmed or not
Yeah.
on, but I think it is true, and I definitely think they are planning a World War Hawk film. There's there was so many rumors as of a World War Hawk film this year, and also the same leaks I've talked about that have a lot of stuff that's come true. Said that Bruce going off is set up for World War Hulk. So I think they're definitely planning that. I don't know whether it's going to be a film or if it's going to be a series on Disney Plus though. I think that depends on whether they're able to get the rights back from Universal. If they're not, then they'll just make it be a Disney Plus series.
So as a person who hasn't done the leaks, I also feel that same way just from what the show is
Yeah.
giving us. Seems like a lot of hints. From what I understand, the agreement they have was that after his movie, he could like Hulk could not be like the main character. He could be in someone else's
So
movie, be a side character. Even if,
I
but I don't
how
know if that
how I
is the
kind of
television shows.
took it. And you may be right. I'm not sure, but how I've always kind of thought was that you can have Hulk in as much of a film as you want, but you can't have the word Hulk in the title of a film. I think is why I had heard.
Yeah, see, I've heard it differently, and I think that if that was it, I feel like they would go around it like
Right.
um easily. And obviously the movie is called Captain America Civil War, but everybody just says Civil War,
Mhm.
so we could just have done the same thing with Hulk and then just actually not put it in there, even if we all called it that, and
Yeah.
just gave it like that a different name, and that would work. Um so I don't know. I really I feel like they're definitely setting this up for us. Um and
Yeah. And
I'm excited.
and it's such an exciting concept to me. Any people trying to get Hulk blood. I'm guessing they're going like they're going to literally do exactly what they were worried about in the Incredible Hulk, and also what Bruce mentioned being worried about in this, of people of it getting to the wrong hands and someone trying to make kind of like an army of evil Hulks.
Yeah.
I think would be a really cool storyline, and I think that's kind of what they're probably a planning on doing.
Yeah, and I'm not a comic book reader. I just kind of pick up things here and there from when I want to look and
Mhm.
understand more of what I'm given. But I know that there are like Hulklings in the Marvel comics, and that they have some, you know, relationship with New Avengers and or Young
Yeah,
Avengers. I'm sorry, and we're seeing those kind of things. So I feel like they're just, like there's a lot of
I
things moving.
think the biggest thing to me though, that could would kind of damper or the my expectation they're gonna do World War Hulk, and this is really the only thing I can think of that could go against it, is that I feel like needs to really be like a full on Avengers film, but how do they place that within the with between in Avengers Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, which I feel like it, at least everything I've heard, that's probably around the range where they would probably be putting something like this. As I don't know how you could really put that, because I kind of feel like Kang Dynasty is probably going to end in a place where there's like probably going to be like no Earth left. They're trying and eyeing, and the heroes are all sent to Battle World to be there for Secret Wars. I don't know. It's an interesting thing to me of how where you could actually place sign with World War Hulk in their plans going forward.
Yeah, that is a like a good thing to really think about with that. So,
Yeah, I like how many characters we're getting now, but at the same time, it's making it so you have the worry of like it's gonna be so long before we see these characters again now, because they only have so much room to place things.
right. I
Uh,
think they're just kind of rushing what they like the series are allowing them to kind of rush what they were able to do with the first set. Even
mhm.
if they had,
Yeah,
I was thinking when you were talking about World War Hulk having to be a Avengers movie, and at first I was gonna say, well, no, you can just do like a Civil War and basically make an Avengers movie, but say it's not an Avengers movie, and then I thought, but he doesn't really have the connection with everyone else for it to
mhm.
work.
Yeah,
So eventually, whatever they do, they're gonna have to bring them together, because right now it's
yeah.
not even so much that we have so many characters or so many new ones. It's just they have no connection amongst themselves. Um, so
Mm. Well, I think that's probably about all I want to talk about. So I'm gonna end this off. All right. So thank you for listening. If you like this gamma analysis, please give a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, or a 5-star rating on Spotify. I thank you, Brandy, for coming on. I really enjoyed talking to you.
thanks. I
Uh,
really enjoyed talking to you too.
yeah. If I'd love to hear your thoughts on the series, so please let me know. And if you'd like to listen to more from me, please subscribe. Many more gamma analysis from me coming, so keep on the lookout. This again is your host, Smash Joey John, signing off.